So what did it reveal after 5 months of waiting and arguing about whether or not the police should go first or Sue Gray should report first? Finally, this nearly 40-page report is published. It lands on the Prime Minister's desk and simultaneously on everyone else's desks as well. What did it reveal? Much of the material in it was already known, had been covered by the media over the past few weeks and months. The photographs had been seen before. The reiterations were there of failure of leadership, of responsibility at the top, and there were some extra bits of information about how staff had treated security staff at Downing Street, cleaning staff at Downing Street, and the impression that a lot of these gatherings had started off being one thing and then gone on later into the night and turned into something else. And there were reports at one stage of altercations between staff due perhaps to excessive alcohol consumption. Was it critical of Boris Johnson? Well, of course, to an extent it was, because it laid the responsibility at the doors of the Prime Minister and his senior staff at Downing Street. And it was quite clear that this was a failure of leadership, of a culture that had been established by the leadership within Downing Street, and that was to blame for all these events taking place. The suggestion being within the report that had there been a different administration in charge, then that wouldn't necessarily have turned out the way it did during this long period of unnatural lockdown that the country experienced. Is Boris Johnson now under threat? Well, that of course is the question that everyone wants the answer to. I think we've still got further to go as far as that's concerned. Yes, Sue Gray has reiterated in her report this failure of leadership. Yes, the press have got lots of questions they want to ask. Yes, there is a poll that's been released from the country today saying that about 50%, perhaps a bit more than 50% of the public think that Boris Johnson should resign. But that's not what gets rid of a Conservative Prime Minister. What gets rid of a Conservative Prime Minister is his own MPs. Now, having met with Parliament and met again at a press conference later on, Boris Johnson then has to go to his own MPs in the House of Commons and sound out their feelings about the Sue Gray report. Many of them said when the report was published they would then offer their opinions about his future, and not until then. So for the past weeks and months we've had senior Tory MPs saying, I've got nothing to say on the matter until Sue Gray publishes. Well, she's published now, and perhaps there will be a message within that for the Prime Minister. But there's also the Privileges Committee in the House of Commons. The Prime Minister has been referred to them as well under the investigation heading of did he or did he not mislead the House when he said that all the rules were followed in Downing Street. They have yet to report, and that should take another couple of months before that conclusion is reached. So the can continues to be kicked down the road, and while it's travelling down the road, Boris Johnson continues as Prime Minister.